Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Ultra Confusion interview. This time we have Rogue Rocket Game. We have Nick Broody.
Hi.
And Richard Sun.
Hello.
And of course, we are Charlie and Zealeus.
Hello.
So Rogue Rocket Games was formed in 2011, and you guys are seasoned veterans. From what I've been able to pull up, it looks like you guys have dabbled in about a little bit of everything. Is that about right?
Yeah.
So the game that you guys just released is a game called GunPowder, which is available currently on the iPad 2 or newer iPads, and is a game that features Incendio as a Robin Hood character, Boss Grimshaw as the evil, dastardly fellow that steals everyone's money, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you guys have currently 125 levels in the game?
It's actually 150.
All right, well, even more fun.
Yeah, if you include the bonus lost levels, which aren't part of the story, but they're in it.
All right. So how long did it take you guys to develop GunPowder?
Oh, that's a long story, sir. But the actual making of the thing was probably right around 8 months, I think, from start to finish. But that's not the whole story. Pretty soon we're going to post a little story about the entire making of it. It's probably too much to talk about here because it's quite a saga. But that's definitely the shortest version of the answer to that question.
I am kind of curious. In the making of the game, I watched some. I couldn't play it because I don't have an iPad 2 or newer. But I watched some of the videos. You definitely have some unique puzzle elements. You start off basic gunpowder, and then you get cannons, and then all kinds of other stuff. Where do you kind of come up with these ideas on how to do these different various puzzle elements? As they get, more difficult as time goes on, where do those kind of come from?
Well, we wanted to just have a nice, easy progression. So once we had the initial drawing of the gunpowder mechanic down, we wanted to limit how much powder you had, so you had to look into the scene, see what else you could do to carry the flame to your target. And we thought, we have these chapters, and each chapter had 25 missions, and we'll just have one new mechanic every new chapter. But that quickly started to grow, simply because it was so easy to come up with new things to put in there. And all the time come, well, let's put in this and let's put in that. It's one of those games that was very, very easy to design. It kind of designs itself. If you put anyone in front of it, they just start coming up with more ideas to add to it. So we'd love to, at some point in the future, adding more new chapters and more mechanics. But it was a very organic process, and just about everyone on the team had a go at making their own levels.
Which kind of forced into.
Yeah. The last levels that Richard was talking about earlier were levels that we just have little competitions, and we just come up with more crazier levels. And so we had a bunch of these odd things, but they were so kind of inventive and weird that we decided to put them in the game too as its own little chapter.
So I've got a question for you guys. I noticed that you guys have like a gold time to get through the level. How feasible are some of those times? Because I'm trying to go as fast as I can. I'm like way behind the amount of time. So where did you come up with that time limit?
All totally doable.
Okay.
Somebody here has for sure done it in that time, and then we added a little bit of fluff for people who aren't insane. One of our guys in particular comes up with both the most insane levels in anything we try to build, and he never really going to make it through it, so he makes sure that it's actually doable.
Do you want to interview?
You can interview us, it's cool.
Come on. Come here. Yeah. Okay. We have a new interviewer here. Say hi. Okay. So. Yeah.
Chocolate.
Oh Lord.
I don't see a fly.
I don't. There's no chocolate, kid. Brody, do you like playing games? Yeah. You want to sit with John? All right. I'm not good. All right. So.
In the corner.
Here. I'll take care of him. You keep going.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
All right. Go down.
All right. So I have no idea. Where was Charlie up? Where did he leave off with you guys?
The time.
time.
Oh, the time question, yeah. Let's see what else we have on here. So right now it's available only on the iPad 2 or newer. I guess why was kind of y'all's decision to go kind of with just that platform instead of say also like the iPhone? Seems like a lot of apps, it's all iOS devices instead of like just the iPad.
Yeah. It was primarily because the game, especially in the more difficult levels later, there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And our initial impression was that it may be a little bit too hard to play on some of the smaller devices, but actually right now we're running a beta for all iOS devices above a certain level. Let's say, for the sake of argument, iPhone 5 and above, for example.
Okay.
And we're trying to see if people feel differently. Like, we just want to see, hey, if you're interested in the game, check it out. And if you actually think it's fine, let us know, and maybe we'll release it as a fully digital thing. So if any of your audience is interested in checking it out on their phone, if they don't have an iPad or something, you're welcome to have them contact us either through you or directly, and we'll give them a little beta access thing, and let us know what they think.
Very cool. I will probably be checking that out since I have an iPhone but not an iPad. Do you have any plans to bring it to like other devices, like say, the Android or PC or anything else?
That's an open topic. We're interested in that. Google Play, is a bit of a different environment. Games that are not free don't quite do as well, but we're considering along with everything else, and it may show up on your PC someday. Right now, it is available on Windows 8 Store, or the whatever they call it now, Modern UI / Windows 8 Store. You can get it there too.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see. We will let the world know when it comes up in other places.
Cool. Kind of a little bit off from the actual video game, but you guys, so you worked for obviously previous companies. I saw that basically you two are kind of the co-founders of this company, correct?
Yeah.
So what made you all kind of decide like, hey, let's go out and make our own company versus, working for, an already established developer or publisher?
And most of my career has always been mainly independent. I started off as a freelancer in the UK many years ago. The only time I really worked for someone else was when I first came to the States through Virgin Games, and we made games like Aladdin and other Disney titles. And then very quickly, myself and David Perry and the group moved off to Starshine Entertainment. From that point onwards, we were independent. I had a company after Shiny called Planet Moon Studios, where we made games like Giants of Ludo and London Dangerous. And then Rich joined Planet Moon Studios, which is how we both met each other.
Okay.
So we worked together before Road Rocket. And so it's really actually always been independent. And I think it's more fun way of doing things, as long as the marketplace can support us. So, but the mobile space has made, and the sort of indie developer scene has made, us find a useful audience for our scale. That we like to be at. We don't like to be like part of a 100 to 200 person team.
Yeah.
Prefer a smaller development environment. And so yeah, we're sort of exploring that mobile space.
About how many people do you have on your development team?
So about waivers between 5 and 6, depending on what's going on at any given time.
Right on. So what else did we have on here? That was most questions I had written down. Do you have any questions as Charlie comes back from keeping the kids in line?
One kid.
Well, it seems like multiple.
Yeah.
I'm behind the curtain action there.
Yeah. And of course, the chair's all wrapped up in the light, so. Okay.
We can squeeze it.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Did you ask all these questions?
Most of them.
Awesome.
So I've run out of it. I know you have more. You're the smart man.
Well, okay. So I see that you guys have strategically placed the Giants poster above your head there, and I noticed that y'all are starting to ramp up maybe a little bit of a campaign for First Wonder.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that this is going to be a PC exclusive.
I think it's a little too early to tell that. We have a lot of background experience in consoles of all kinds in the past, so that's not something that scares us. It's more about where the audience is and what the audience wants and what they want to see.
Mhm.
And the whole point of the exercise of making this game that we're really excited about is to connect them directly with the people who like games that Nick or I made in the past. So it's really about making sure that we're where they are, right?
Okay. Right.
So, PC is almost a certainty, but then everything else is, we'll let the world decide, help us decide what the answers are there.
PC has less hurdles to start with.
Right.
So we don't be vetted by anyone. But we are also Xbox and PlayStation official developers, so that's something we would definitely look to be on. I always wanted games like Giants and MBK on the TV screen, so hopefully we'll get to do that this time.
Cool. So unfortunately, so you guys formed Rogue Rocket from like an unfortunate event of your previous studio closing shop. So is this? I guess since that occurred, did this kind of like catapult you into going? Well, why not? Let's try something original, something unique. Let's see where it takes us, and then you guys just went from there, or how was the process from the closure of that studio to Rogue Rockets?
It was suboptimal, we'll say. But luckily, Nick and I had already sort of started a little endeavor of our own within the context of Planet Moon. To try to do these a little bit more experimental games, a little smaller scale than we had been doing, and trying to learn about the sort of emerging markets. I don't mean emerging markets like nationality-wise, but mobile and web and et cetera, right? So we had a little bit of software we already started to write with a very, very small team. So when it all went down, it was actually really, really sad because we had just kind of revealed to the company our little project, and we just had everyone. It was all multiplayer and stuff and cool, and we had them all playing with each other and stuff, and everyone was kind of like, "Whoa, cool!" And then it all was like, "Sorry, we're done now." But luckily, we were able to form Rogue Rocket shortly afterwards, and we kind of took that as a starting point for the new stuff. But our kind of initial operating sort of mission statement was to get back to smaller game teams, faster development times, being creative, doing a lot of prototyping kind of stuff, and just trying to do things other people were doing, like doing different games, and seeing if we could, capture some of these emerging different ways that people get games, digital distribution, web games, Steam games, mobile games at the time, everything like that. And that's kind of what we've been doing for a while, since 2011, which sometimes blows my mind a little bit.
A lot has happened.
Yeah. It's actually been pretty cool because, unlike a lot of studios, we've been very lucky in that we've only built games that are original IPs, things that we came up with. Some things we did publishers and some things not, but always things that we came up with. So we're pretty proud of that. And we hope to be able to continue to do that going forward.
So I have a random question for you guys. I know that you guys have had your hands on a lot of games, so let's strike those from there. But if there was an IP that you were able to get a hold of to make a spiritual successor of, what would it be?
Well, Nick answered that.
Well, I mean, it's a toss-up between, I guess, MBK and Giants. I always meant to do the sequel to Giants after the first one, but the way things panned out, Interplay actually offered me the option to do that, but I was starting Planet Moon and wanted to start Giants and wanted to have a break from it and then maybe come back, but they wanted to go forward sooner, so that ended up going with another team. And then with Giants, I guess that's probably the main one because it was unfinished business for me. We had to rush that game out at the time. Interplay were in a bit of trouble, and so it was released sort of probably a little too soon. And before we even really knew how to market the game, because it was kind of different at the time, and nobody really quite knew what it was. So we felt probably a little bit, a few years ahead of our time at that point. And they always planned for it to be a number of, well, that was just going to be the first, a number of sequels put upon that world. So in a way, I'm kind of relaunching that plan.
Right.
But people have asked me, why didn't we get the IP back? And it kind of got a sort of messy situation between the new owners of Interplay and Chris company Planet Moon. And so there just wasn't a clear path to do that. So it's just a lot easier to start fresh, new characters, new story. And that way I wouldn't be sort of hampered in any way from developing sequels and future add-ons to that. That's the way I am right now with Giants.
Okay.
So I feel like I missed out on what I don't remember the game Giants. So what kind of game actually is Giants? I feel like I missed out on that part of my youth.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it goes back. I don't remember when it was launched.
Giants?
Yeah.
It has Windows 95, 98 on there, so
Ooh,
2000. Looks like 2000.
I mean,
that was
in those days, we were, we loved making action 3D games, exploring worlds, and there weren't a lot of those back then. And it's one of the first games where in multiplayer we're having completely different races and different play styles, different scales of characters that don't naturally mesh together. Or that's very, very difficult to sort of balance. And so we were sort of trying to tackle many different things. We'd never played a multiplayer game before. It was only our second game on the PC. And we were also just, as artists, really excited because it's only a second 3D game, so the whole world was opening up to us and things we could develop. So we had a bit of everything in Giants. What is Giants? Well, man, it's like third person / first person, with RTS, base building, multiplayer, you name it. It was in there somewhere. A lot of character, and sort of development style that's sort of harder to come by these days, where we were just, for the type of budget it was, a sort of mid-scale budget, we had a lot of freedom. No one was directing us other than some marketing nudity aspects that we had to address. We were pretty much free to make the game we wanted to make. And you don't see that so much now. You do see it now in sort of indie scene and mobile stuff, where there's less risk. But on the console side, in that larger scale, larger vision project, you don't get to see that much freedom in the creative process. And one of the reasons why we got excited to go back to that space was just because of crowdsourcing, making that a possibility to make a game of that scope with the freedom behind it to allow it to be the crazy thing that it was.
which is pretty exciting. I know, we talk about video games all the time. That's one of the big things for us as gamers, is kind of crazy, especially with the big AAA titles, is how much regurgitation there is. It feels like you're playing the same game every year over and over. And hopefully to see something a little bit unique, where there's that freedom to do something cool.
Yeah, I love getting new games and new experiences, and it's amazing the level of polish and visual production that goes on. But pretty soon, within the first 30 minutes, I'm just like, I'm still just doing the same thing one more time, and I said that there are a lot of games that are exploring more, but on the larger AAA stuff, it's pretty limited. You can actually get.
Trying to find your cool Giants image right now while you're chatting here. So this, to give you an idea, this is really why I set out in the first place back in 2004. I was at LucasArts before that, but this is, I think this might be a marketing image from a long time ago, but this is I don't know if you guys are going to say that.
Yep,
that's
we can see it.
image from the game from 2000. So that's,
wow.
It's, if you look at it now, it kind of still stands out as sort of different looking and, different choices of colors and character designs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of we want to frame it better here. Trying to see his head a little better.
Yeah, we can definitely see it.
Yeah. So, that's kind of the goal here. Even now, the whole point is there's still not people, there's people doing all these cool indie experimental games and stuff, but still not exactly what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're sort of half indie, half mainstream, I guess, in some ways.
So, you know, if I'm trying to talk about it, this thing. So if anyone over there is like interested in following our efforts here, we have our website up. I'm using my phone in a ridiculous way, but there's First Wonder.
Yep, we're building the spiritual successor of giants, Citizen Kabuto. Kabuts? I'm probably not
And we
saying that
need
right.
your help.
Very nice.
Woo!
It sounds like a very intriguing game to test out. Seems like a lot to get into.
Yeah. But in some ways we build stuff and then we shape it after that. Sometimes if you try to work everything out too much ahead of time, you end up restricting yourself. And it's harder to find those little magical discoveries that make things exciting. So we tend to have like a broad plan of what we're trying to achieve and where the balances are and stuff like this. But also we're totally willing to put in things that we know are not going to be balanced and will be chaotic and crazy, just to allow the emergent fun stuff to happen. I think that's actually really key to make give the player a fresh experience. I want to surprise the player when they go into something. So it's probably one of the main goals I have. So I actually want to be surprised myself. And so when I make something, I want people to, as I'm watching them play, be able to have that action.
So, random question. Have you guys seen the movie Indie Game the movie?
Not yet on my list of things to do.
Okay, well, the guy behind Braid, Jonathan Blow, he was very passionate about his game, and he had a serious issue with people not understanding the exact vision he had for his game. So my question is, so when you take on a project like First Wonder, if people don't gravitate to the way that you think it's going to be played, are you going to be like thoroughly like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Why are they playing the game wrong?
That's not phrased in the way you said it exactly.
Uh-huh.
All right, I have to tactically answer that question a little bit, but it's not like. Of course, we're going to have our grand vision, right?
Right.
But it's not really about them playing it right or wrong. There's some concern about whether if they look at a picture, whether or not they'll get what is going on or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the other, that different order problem we're talking about. Our hope is that once they actually get their hands on the game, it's like immediately a blast to play.
Right.
So that's why I say it's not exactly what you say, because even in the I showed you some pictures from Giants, and if you haven't played it, then you may make one assumption or another about what's going on. Once you get in there and play, it's like pretty clear what that hook is, right?
Right.
So the goal is to have a game where once you put your hands on it, within a very short time, you understand why you're really enjoying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an exercise. And that's kind of what Nick was getting at a little bit, where we're kind of sitting in the middle of indie and mainstream, because we want to be accessible, as opposed to what I really appreciate a lot about a lot of the indie stuff is they're actually not as concerned about half of that. They're just out there to like create something legitimately crazy and new. It's like serious, almost like just crazy modern art, for example, right?
Right.
And you just want to invent something that hasn't existed before. And sometimes you get these things that are very accessible, sometimes you don't, but it's all fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of our goal is actually to make an accessible experience different. Does that I sort of answer your question, but
No, that's. I like the fact that you guys said, it's you want the player to get in there and find how to play the game and then enjoy it. That's basically you want the gamer to fully understand the game, but at the same time enjoy it. That's one of the big pieces to it, right?
Yes. You should really jump in and play it with baseline and mechanics they understand from like some whatever the history of gaming or whatever.
Right.
But then also experience a sense of wonder and like, wow, this is so interesting and different and creative. Oh my god!
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't sound there's like really for First Wonder that there's really a predefined genre for it. Is that correct?
Sort of, at least as a starting point of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the same thing for Giants back in that time.
Right.
There was the different things about it. Like, I wasn't working at that time, but I was a game player, and for me, it was interesting because, you kind of knew what to expect in terms of how it was controlled, because there are things kind of like it. But then what you were doing with those core mechanical controls was very different. And that was very enticing. And in a world that just looked really different than everyone else.
It's always going to be an action adventure with some exploring aspects to it, and surprises, but always fun. You don't really sort of drag you down. It's not a somber story. It's usually a very sort of bright experience.
It's not Last of Us.
Okay, so I've got we're getting close to the 30-minute mark, but I just wanted to ask you a quick question. When you guys are not in the process of brainstorming amazing ideas, what game do you play to unwind? Or do you play games to unwind?
Oh, man, I change around a lot. I mean, right now I'm playing a lot of Wasteland 2.
Mhm.
Props out to Nick's old friend Brian Fargo. I'm totally into that right now. But beyond that, I mean, I'm all over the place about that stuff.
And I usually play the games that he's finished with. And he goes, play this.
Yeah, I'm like this filter.
Yeah, I don't. One of my biggest problems is not having enough time to actually sit and game. And we both got kids too, so I understand that part of it. And so it's literally Rich is like usually he somehow manages to find time. I think he just sleeps less than I do. And so when he finds something interesting, he likes to sleep classes.
I also have an amazing wife that's very understanding.
When I just want to just do something easy, I like jump into Lost Horizons too and drive around because that's just nice.
Yeah, Horizon.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Sunset Overdrive too. That was pretty fun. On the entirely opposite end of the spectrum. Wasteland.
Right.
Yes. So I'm all over this.
Cool.
Guacamelee. Great team. Indie and accessible and super cool.
I can play with my kid.
And he can play this.
That's a bonus.
Yeah, I've got to wait just a little bit longer before I can officially get my kid to play because my wife is a little bit afraid of the kid's not even 3 years old yet, and he's already trying to put a controller in. Actually, he's already trying to hold the controller and saying, "Let's play a game, Daddy." So I need to find those games as well.
I thought you already had them lined up with the Nintendo.
Well, okay, fine, yes. I'm going to bring my kid up right. He's going to start with the Nintendo, and he's going to go through.
I just got one last weekend. Exactly that.
Yeah. So, well, do you have any more questions?
I think I'm pretty much topped out.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for taking this time to talk to us. I know that it's Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if you guys have any plans. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, margaritas.
Yeah, I didn't know it. I didn't figure it out until this morning.
We get free food at school. It's great because all the Spanish classes cook like quesadillas and stuff.
I don't get that. So
you gotta work at a school, man.
I do work at a school, but not in the right department.
This is true.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys for taking the time out. I love playing GunPowder. I'm still gonna. I've played a couple of levels to try to get close to that time limit. I've not mastered that at all. Like there's some time limits that are like 23 seconds, and it takes me about a minute and 23. Especially with the ones where the trains are going across the screen and knocking the piggy banks basically off, so you got to go extra fast. I haven't mastered that yet. But anyways, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to talk to us. It's been awesome. For everyone who's watching this interview, check out GunPowder. Currently is on the iPad 2. You can download it on the App Store. And, of course, be on the lookout for First Wonder. We'll post the link to it. And, of course, I think you guys, we can already start donating if you want to, right? There's a donate link on that page.
Yes, some people have already been doing that.
Awesome.
Is it going to be kickstarted or is it actual donations?
Oh, no, we're still trying to prepare for that because it's kind of a different thing than it used to be. But you can commit some funds via PayPal, which many people have done, and we're very grateful for.
Rock on.
All right, so thank you guys again for taking time out, and hopefully we'll hear about some amazing games you guys have coming out down the road.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.